Hi everyone, I'm Gabby De La Merced and this is Power. Now, right with me over here is Ariana Evangelista. Hello, hello.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Gabby, for having me.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, as you can see, she's all decked out and ready to go hit the trails.
Yeah, man. Good thing the weather is kind of forgiving. Actually, right now, the weather is kind of crazy. Good.
Crazy Manila weather, but today, the weather gods have blessed us.
Yeah.
Before we head on to the actual trails, I wanted to check out your car because it seems pretty intense.
Pretty equipped. So whenever I have local races, I always bring my car with me. And as you can see from the outside, it has an awning and it has a shower awning on the other side. So whenever I do have to change and all, I just go to this part and like we don't have to worry about tents and all because we have our own tent basically. And then when you open the back door, and I'm just so sorry now, it's kind of messy. But mountain bikers are really messy, so you know, it's natural. So I have my bike roller with me. This is what I use to warm up. And then since I have a shower awning, I don't have like those power sprayers with me. So I have a garden sprayer.
Okay, that is actually extremely smart.
Yeah, man. So this is like cheap lang. It's around 700, I think. This is about 7 liters, so it's good for like a one person. Then I have chairs with me, and then somewhere in this bunch, I have like a foldable table.
Okay,
So
pretty
diba?
much the whole shebang.
Ready?
Where do you place your shower on it? You said it's somewhere here. What does that do? It covers
You wanna
you?
see? You wanna see?
Would you-
It's easy.
Okay,
Put out.
let's see.
It's easy to put out. So you just open and yeet this thing.
Oh, I love
But, like,
gadgets
if you have
on cars.
a taller car,
Okay.
it's gonna be like there's like gonna have a space under.
show a little bit of
So since-
skin.
Yeah, but no, I mean like so since my car is not that high, it's like a compact SUV. So it doesn't so it just goes
Oh
down.
wow!
Like that.
It looks pretty spacious, huh?
It is surprisingly.
Wow!
It is. So you just put that out. Very easy.
It's actually bigger than my shower at home.
So of course it's better if you have
Amazing.
someone to guard you or something.
Okay.
But yeah, and then you enter here. Just there.
Galing!
Oh, diba? So I don't have to worry about kasi sometimes when we park, it's on the car's on soil. So sometimes I just pee it.
Trade secret.
Yeah, man.
Boy, they say peeing while showering it disinfects the floor.
And then there's a for your soaps or clothes, whatever. And it's very easy to put back.
Okay, we're gonna see how fast it actually is.
Because I don't hold back.
All done with one person.
Yeah, man.
Alam mo, super galing. What I have is literally just 5-liter water bag. Tapos meron lang siyang gripo sa ilalim. Siyempre, walang power yon.
Yeah.
Yung pinakita ni Ariana na ito, this can only be done through experience. And obviously, Ariana has the best experience. She knows what she's talking about. I'm gonna do that next time. Bibili ako ng garden hose.
So for everyone watching, my main discipline is cross-country Olympics, mountain biking. Our race tracks usually look very gnarly. Like you wouldn't expect that we'd be riding down rock gardens, going downstairs, flying with our bikes when we're jumping and all. So our bikes has to be really equipped for that. And luckily, my sponsor, Trek Bikes Philippines, they give me the best bikes for me to just really compete better. My bike is actually a full suspension. If you can see on the frame part, it has a suspension at the back and also in front. Since most of the terrains have really developed, like it's very, very rugged, my bike helps me to ride better and to be more enduring because my body's like my suspension as well. My races usually last an hour and a half. So just imagine going around a circuit for how many laps and for an hour and a half. your bike has to be able to withstand the ruggedness and of course help your body to prolong your biking experience. So I really love my bike, and I equipped it with like chunky tires so that it's more grippy in the trail. Wait, I gotta show you this one.
Okay.
This one. This is called a dropper seat post.
Dropper seat
So yeah, for
post.
example, when I go down a steep terrain, I just do this. Yeah, it goes
Oh,
down.
wow.
So that it helps me stay low on the bike. And then when I have to start pedaling, I just have to do that.
Wait, that's there,
switch.
that little lever
Yeah,
right
and
there.
then it goes down. I just have to sit so that it goes down.
that's
Then
awesome.
you eat it. Yeah, man. So
The innovations today.
yeah, man, that's what you're paying for.
You were saying that you do
Cross country.
Cross country.
Yeah, XC.
XC. Now, the thing is, yung sa alam ko dati, XC, you use more or less hardtail, diba?
Yeah, hardtail, the ones without the suspension and the
Uh-huh.
frame. But like here in the Philippines, people still mostly use hardtails. And hardtails are a bit much cheaper than riding a full sus. But I got used to riding a full sus for about 2 years. It took me some time. But being used to it, and I tried riding a hardtail a few months back, I couldn't ride my bike because it wasn't
Iba na.
iba na. It wasn't plush. I feel like I'm more tired.
Yeah.
I feel every bump. So that's the
The
advantage.
vibrations,
Yeah, that's
no?
the advantage of a full suspension. I mean, you would spend a little more, but definitely your riding's gonna get better. You're gonna play more in the trails, and that's what the full suspension bike has helped me. So I became more confident on my bike, especially if you're equipped with the dropper. Sometimes kasi when you go down on a steep section, it's very intimidating. It's very
Oo.
high if your seat post high, but with just a switcher, you're low.
Alam mo, ang galing ng device na yan. First time ko yan nakita.
Yes, for me, it's a really great investment, especially for the newbies. Even if you're a newbie, it's better to have a dropper seat post so that you'd be more confident when riding your bike anywhere.
Once naka full sus ka, 'di ba, medyo mas mabigat siya.
Yeah.
So even with a full sus that's heavier, it's still better than having a lighter hardtail.
For me,
XC.
oo. But like here in the Philippines, ideally, it's better to have both bikes because sometimes there are trails or tracks that will favor the full sus. But like for me, with this, I just go for skinnier tires, I guess. And since
okay.
my suspension in the frame, it has like a lockout, it's not gonna be moving.
Okay.
So although it's still gonna be heavier, but at least the suspension's not gonna move when you're like riding on the road, or if you have like criteriums and all. So it's basically like a hardtail. It can work as a hardtail, but hardtails are still lighter than a full sus bike.
What I gather with that, the more bikes, the better.
Yeah, the N number of bikes, I swear.
Well, thank you for showing us around, and we're gonna hit the trail soon.
Let's go.
Okay, tinatanggal na niya yung bike niya. Habang nagsisetup siya, ito ang setup ko. Para sa araw.
So where do we go now?
Wherever the road takes you. Okay.
So we're at the Philinvest Trails, and if you haven't been here, the whole area has like about 6 to 7 kilometers of trail, and it's very newbie friendly. So if you wanna start riding mountain bikes in trails, Philinvest, I highly suggest.
Di ko yan in-expect na meron pang kasamang talon.
Yeah. But that's the thing about bikes, it's so fun to play with.
Iba-iba talaga yung mga trail ng, especially when you go XC eh. Hindi mo alam kung anong makukuha mo. Sometimes sobrang rough yung gravel, sometimes sobrang maputik siya. Ito yung dinaanan niya kanina. Ganyan kasikip. At tingnan mo to.
You see that jump right over there?
Ayan na. Airtime!
So fun. Okay, so you only saw like the first part of Philinvest Trails, but inside there's like a place called Whisper Tail, but I may be wrong. But there's like a couple of jumps there. One time when I went here on a weekend, there are enduro riders groups who are just really enjoying to fly.
Ay,
and it's
saya.
so nice to see because the community like that is why I also fell in love with mountain biking. So laid back, everyone's just having fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's the same. Even for me, newbies or even pro riders, for me they're all equal.
Basta fun
Basta
lang.
fun. Correct.
So Ariana, how did you start your love for bike?
For mountain biking, I started at age 12 and then it started out as a hobby. But by the time that I became a professional, and then I got to like go abroad, travel places, meet a lot of people. I had like new training partners that were fun to be with. That's actually the time that I fell in love with the sport more, or that I got to enjoy training and that it didn't feel like work for me. But I'm just really happy that I really pushed for the sport and then I maintained my path here, and then I'm so happy that it really changed my whole life.
Sino nagsabi sa'yo, oh, why don't you try mountain biking or something?
Well, my parents like have really wanted us to get into sports. When I was younger, I was really playing a lot of computer games, but when I got into sports, I go outside more, and then it really changed my personality. Well, for me, I think it's up to the parents to help their kids to get into sport and help them maintain their path towards that, because it's not really easy. Especially that in my sport, mountain biking, it's extreme. You'd never thought that your bike could bring you to the mountains or even to go abroad and compete. You wouldn't really expect that. But I'm glad I did what I did.
When was the switch na gusto ko maging pro? From here to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I've always been like the type to, go for the extraordinary. And luckily talaga na this path, it's really hard. I just really became determined, became loyal to what I'm doing. Maybe it switched because there are a couple of local MTB races that had cash prizes. It also serves as a motivation for me to train harder, because right now I live alone, I sustain myself, and what can help me pay the bills, I try to motivate myself to train harder. The earnings from races, I get monetary support from my sponsors as well.
Kamusta naman ang first international race mo? Saan yun?
My first international race was very memorable. It was when I was 18. So for mountain biking, when you race XCO, there's like juniors category. There's already an age category for that. So for juniors, it's 17 to 18. And then for ngayon, may under 23 na. So that's like 19 to 22. But before, wala yon. So when you're 19, you're elite na agad. You're with the big girls already. You're in the big league. So my first international race was in Malaysia. I won in the junior girls. And it was really memorable because that was my first race abroad. And it was really quite difficult because everything's new. How I was mentally and emotionally back then, it's completely different to how I am now. Looking back, I'm glad that I was able to experience those, because for me, experiences sa buhay, it's what makes you better. Because if you don't suffer and you don't get the lesson out of that suffering, you will not evolve. So for how I am today talaga, it's because of all the good and bad experiences I had in the past.
They see only a certain facet of it.
Yeah.
They don't realize the amount of like blood, sweat, and
Yeah.
tears that go with the whole training. And not just with training, trying to look for sponsors.
Yes.
Fascinated ako na kinakwento mo nga na hindi lang sa MTV na nakafocus ka rin sa paghahanap ng sponsors mo para makakarera pa.
Yes.
How did that go with you? Was it tricky? Was it?
Oh yeah, it was really tricky. A year ago, I was like really in my lowest low, and I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to stay down there. Like emotionally, I don't want to be sad and all. So like, I really tried to shift my mindset. It's still a work in progress for me. For me, I believe how you think, how you feel every day, what you choose to do, it's still training it. So if you want to be happy, you have to train yourself to be happy, and then it becomes a point that becomes natural, then everything just follows. And then you'll just be surprised that your life is shifting towards what you want.
Yeah.
It's like you're attracting better. I'm not afraid anymore to ask people for help, because before, I know how difficult it is to open up and ask for guidance. But sometimes you gotta chase the things para mangyari yung gusto mo, di ba? I mean, I didn't want to just sit and just wait for the things that I want to happen, because you'll never know when it's gonna come. For me, talaga the people is what's important, because my journey, this didn't happen alone. Like, I wasn't alone. To have a great support system nga naman, to have a great village, it's what keeps me going. They inspire me to get better, kasi I know that at my lowest lows or my highest highs, they're there.
So Ariana, what is power to you?
Power is your capacity to do better and to do change that's not only for yourself, but change that's gonna affect everyone around you. For example, with me with cycling, that's why I want a lot of people to get into cycling, because it's not only just a sport, it's a lifestyle. I really grew, not only as an athlete but as a person, and that's something that I want other people to experience, because I know a lot of people are suffering. Just imagine if a sport can help you change. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to help a lot of people. I've been through so much. When I see some people having problems, like, I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I know what you've been through, and how can I help? That's why on my social media, I try to make it being positive. I want them to be inspired. Even if you're not a cyclist, I appreciate those people who message me that I've helped them so much, and that's what keeps me going. So
Galing.
it really touches me. That's what power means to me talaga, to do better and to change.
Come into any sport, not necessarily cycling, any
Oh, yeah,
sport,
any
and get
sport.
those happy endorphins.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Anong masasabi mo sa mga taong yon na gusto maging either pro or wanna get into cycling?
I highly encourage everyone to try out mountain biking. You don't have to be a pro to get into biking. If you wanna be with friends, be out with your family, go on an adventure, you can do it on bikes. But for me, of course, you have to choose the people you're going to be with. I highly suggest that they're fun people, because it's all the more that you'll really enjoy the sport better. And for me, mountain biking, kasi it's a really laid-back sport. We like beers and stuff like that. We like it casual and chill.
The good life.
The good life,
The good
basically.
life.
People like me, I love food. And sometimes my motivation is what kind of food I can get from working out hard. So I know a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh, yes.
You bike to eat, and there's no shame in that. I swear, I do that as well. Guess why we have my team and I, my riding buddies, we have coffee rides because we love coffee. So those are things that you can do on bikes, diba?
Yeah, I noticed
More-
na nagkakaroon ng culture na, di ba?
Yeah, putting more space for the tank.
Space for the tank, guys. We're gonna use that.
But of course, don't forget to get the right equipment, get helmets, get the proper bike. You don't have to be on a mountain bike first. You can go road bike, whatever you want. But for me, I highly suggest mountain biking because it's the most friendly, because you can go anywhere with it. You can go in the mountains, go biking on your village. I really look forward to seeing you guys on the road, especially that everything's been going well.
Well, thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
life story. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm with Ariana Evangelista. This is Gabby De La Merced, and this is Power.
Power.